King Charles comments on encouraging news in cancer treatment following his own diagnosis. King Charles shared a hopeful word about new advances in cancer treatment amid his own cancer diagnosis during his royal tour of Australia and Samoa. On October 22, the King, 75, offered the comment during his visit to the Melanoma Institute Australia in Sydney. The outing came on the 5th day of his historic tour with Queen Camilla, and was one of several stops he made solo. The Melanoma Institute Australia is the world's largest melanoma research and treatment facility, and the Sovereign Met Australian of the Year award winners Professor Georgina Long and Professor Richard Scolyer to hear more about their work in melanoma treatment. Australia has the world's highest rates of melanoma, and it is the country's third most common cancer. According to ITV, Long told the King that they are improving treating the side effects of immunotherapy. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. Richard Scolyer greets King Charles alongside Georgina Long at the Melanoma Institute of Australia on October 22, 2024. When we stimulate the immune system, it can get confused and can start attacking normal tissue. And there are side effects that we become expert at managing, Long said. Oh. You do? That's very encouraging, the King replied, according to the outlet. Immunotherapy is a cancer treatment which uses the immune system to find and destroy cancer cells, according to the Cleveland Clinic, and differs from chemotherapy, which uses drugs to kill cancer cells and prevent tumor growth. Long and Scolyer's work is personal, because it has helped Scolyer himself. In June 2023, after he was diagnosed with incurable grade 4 brain cancer 2023, she developed a series of pioneering treatments inspired by melanoma breakthroughs. Scolyer later became the world's first brain cancer patient to receive pre-surgery combination immunotherapy, an experimental treatment hoping to advance the understanding of brain cancer, the Australian of the Year awards said. While visiting the Melanoma Institute Australia, the King also met Adam Brown, who is a patient of Long's, to hear about his cancer treatment experience. The Sovereign was shown one of Brown's scans, and Long, who won the Australian of the Year award with Scolyer for their strides to save lives from skin cancer, explained the steps of treatment following a melanoma diagnosis. King Charles asked Brown, "The treatment isn't too bad, the immunotherapy?" And the patient said he'd had minimal side effects, ITV reported. Fantastic. Brilliant. I'm so glad, King Charles said. In February, Buckingham Palace announced that the King was diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer and began treatment. The news came after the palace announced the King was treated for a benign enlarged prostate in January. A spokesman clarified that he does not have prostate cancer. The Sovereign postponed public-facing work for 3 months on medical advice, and resumed forward-facing engagements on April 30. Buckingham Palace said in April that the King's treatment was ongoing, and the Sovereign has occasionally spoken about his own health at royal outings since. King Charles greets the public at the Melanoma Institute Australia on October 22, 2024. It's always a bit of shock when they tell you, he told a cancer patient at the Macmillan Cancer Centre at the University College Hospital London on April 30, according to Rebecca English of the Daily Mail. The centre is not directly involved in his care, and the King made the statement at his first outing since resuming forward-facing duties. Before the royal tour of Australia and Samoa, it was reported that King Charles would pause his ongoing treatment, thought to be weekly, during the 9-day, long-distance trip. He is reported to be travelling with 2 doctors and won't be stopping in New Zealand, a nearby Commonwealth realm, on medical advice. Queen Camilla and King Charles arrive in Apia, Samoa on October 23, 2024. After the King's poignant visit to the Melanoma Institute Australia, he and Queen Camilla stepped out in Samoa on October 23 to continue the second leg of the tour. The Australia visit was significant, as it marked the first to a Commonwealth realm since the King's accession in September 2022. They continued to Samoa for the biennial Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM, which will be the King's first time attending the summit, as the head of the Commonwealth. The voluntary association of 56 nations is closely linked to the British Crown. King Charles only sorry to devastated crowds after confrontation with angry protester. King Charles and Queen Camilla were only sorry they couldn't greet more well-wishers after a royal walkabout in Australia lasted just minutes following an angry protest. As the royal couple continued their trip to Australia today, they travelled to Canberra where the King gave a speech at Government House. However, after his speech a furious Indigenous politician confronted the royal couple, and approached the stage as dumbfounded MPs and guests stood by, shouting "You are not my king." Yelling at the King and Queen as royal protection officers attempted to lead her out of the building, Senator Lydia Thorpe said, "You committed genocide against our people. Give us our land back. Give us back what you stole from us. Our bones, our skulls, our babies, our people. You destroyed our lands, give us a treaty, we want a treaty in the country, you are a genocidalist. This is not your land, this is not your land, you are not my king, you are not our king." She was also heard shouting "Not my king" and "FK the colony" as she was led out. After the incident, a planned walkabout took place outside the Parliament building, where dozens of well-wishers had been waiting in the blazing Canberra sunshine since 8 a.m. to catch a glimpse of the King and Queen. However, the meet and greet only last a few minutes with some left devastated after the royals spent less than 10 minutes saying hello to the crowds. However, a palace source denied it had been cut short due to the commotion inside the chamber and said the schedule had been running 15 minutes over, with their Majesties sorry they couldn't greet everyone. They explained, their Majesties were deeply touched by seeing and hearing the very many thousands who'd turned out to support them, and are only sorry they didn't have a chance to stop and talk to every single one. The warmth and scale of the reception was truly awesome. While they are grateful to all the crowds, their Majesties particularly enjoyed hearing individual stories of those who'd made such a special effort to be there. King Charles and Queen Camilla touched down in Australia after grueling 24-hour journey. The King and Queen have arrived at Sydney Airport, where they received a warm welcome from officials despite the deluge of rain. King Charles and Queen Camilla didn't let the torrential downpours dampen their spirits as they arrived in Australia on Friday evening as they touched down in Sydney for their 6-day royal tour. The 75-year-old monarch clutched an umbrella as he led the way down the airplane's steps in slippy conditions, turning to check his wife was okay, as she followed tentatively behind. Thanks for watching, please don't forget to like this video and drop comments, and most importantly don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.